Los Angeles Lakers are cleaning house. Bombshell new reports about Jeanie Buss, her brothers, and the Lakers bringing in Dodgers top executives as advisors. Does this mean that Rob Pelinka could be next? Does this mean that Jeanie Buss could be out at some point? Also, the Rams made a trade that could change the course of their franchise for the next decade, and it only gets better. Also, what is the Dodgers' dream offseason and the 10 worst Lakers of all time? That's coming up next on the LA Sports Report.
LA is the sports capital of the world. The Lakers have entered their Luka Doncic era. LeBron doesn't just want a farewell tour, he wants a farewell title. The Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Go, Kings, go! The Dodgers are the best run franchise in all of professional sports. Shohei Ohtani is the GOAT. Steve Ballmer will do anything to get the Clippers a championship. Mick Cronin has to win a national championship at UCLA. Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in this league. College football is just better when USC is good. This whole city has the Mamba mentality. I love LA.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is the LA Sports Report with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, and welcome to the LA Sports Report. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I've covered LA sports for over a decade, 24/7 sports, Bleacher Report, SI, Dodgers Nation, and I'm low to the soil. And this is the LA Sports Report. It's about all LA teams, the Lakers, the Dodgers, the Rams, the Chargers, the Clippers, UCLA, USC, LAFC, Galaxy, whatever it is, you're going to find it right here. If it's about LA sports, you're going to find it right here. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button too, drop a comment down below if you want to support the show, getting close to 4,000 subscribers. And once we get to 4K, we're doing a Luka Doncic jersey giveaway. So definitely join the show, join the movement. And we've got lots to talk about on today's show. And the first thing that we're going to get into is the biggest story in LA sports right now. And that is the Lakers are becoming the Dodgers. It all started when Dodgers principal owner Mark Walter bought a majority stake in the team worth nearly $10 billion. And you knew there was going to be changes. You knew that things were ultimately going to take shape at some point. But the last couple of days, we've gotten some major dominoes that have already fallen. And yesterday, we'll talk more about that. The Buss brothers, the scouts, gone. Not a part of the Lakers anymore. Not even that. They didn't even get a statement from the Lakers. You didn't even get the Lakers release any statement about the Buss brothers yesterday. Not one sentence saying thank you for your service. Thank you for working for this organization. Thanks for Austin Reeves and Kyle Kuzma and Alex Caruso. Guys that they had scouted and have had careers for the Lakers and teams around the league. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No word from the Lakers for those two. And then today, news broke that 2 top Dodgers executives were having advisory roles with the Dodgers that have played that role, and now they're having advisory roles with the Lakers. This is from Ramona Shelburne. Farhan Zaidi and Andrew Friedman, 2 key executives with the Los Angeles Dodgers, have taken on advisory roles with the Los Angeles Lakers as part of the ownership transition from the Buss family to Mark Walter. Zaidi, currently a special advisor to the Dodgers and renowned for his analytics background, is functioning as Walter's representative in helping with the transition. Friedman, the president of baseball operations with the Dodgers, has played a lesser role. He mostly consults with Lakers president of basketball operations, Rob Pelinka. Friedman has, of course, had a lot of great experience. He's the best executive in baseball. He has led the Dodgers to 3 World Series in the last 6 years. He's been the mastermind behind the best organization, not just in Major League Baseball, but I would say the best organization all of professional sports. That is who is taking on an advisory role with the Lakers. Now, the specifics of what he's doing, the kind of advice he's providing for Rob Pelinka, that's still unknown at this point. But it also goes on to say both the Lakers and the Dodgers are expected to become part of TWG Sports, the entity Walter created to oversee all his sports holdings. As such, Zaidi and Friedman are acting as senior executives of TWG Sports, which is helping with the Lakers after the sale of the team last month. So this all started when Mark Walter was approved as the new majority owner of the Lakers. That happened on October 29th. And the sale of the team was valued at $10 billion. And a part of that deal, Jeanie Buss was to remain as the team's governor for at least the next 5 years. At least the next 5 years. So the big question is, what's next for the Lakers? What does this actually mean? Let's start with Jeanie Buss. I think this ultimately signals that this is the beginning of the end for Jeanie Buss with the Lakers. And this is something that must be done. I always live by the quote, I hate to procrastinate. And one quote I always remind myself is what must be done eventually should be done immediately. And yes, they're not going to move on from Jeanie Buss immediately, but the writing's now on the wall. And now what you're going to see with the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Los Angeles Lakers, both of these franchises being ran by the same group, is no, you're not going to see Yoshinobu Yamamoto throwing alley-oops to Shohei Ohtani. No, you're not going to see the Lakers with a top 3 player at every single position. You can't do that in the NBA. And I see people out there rejoicing and jumping for joy that Andrew Friedman and Farhan Zaidi and the Dodgers' influence is going to have its way with the Lakers. And yes, it's a major positive, but basketball is very different than baseball. In baseball, you can spend as much money as you want. You can literally spend as much money as you want at every single position, get any player you want. You just have to pay a luxury tax type of thing, right? Yeah, you go past the CBT, you're penalized. Sometimes if it's at a 110% rate, it's at 110% rate. You can't do that in the NBA. So to think that Andrew Friedman's going to come in and, the Lakers are going to get Giannis Antetokounmpo, and they're going to get Wemby, and they're going to get Jokic, and they're just going to stack this team with superstars at every position like you see with the Los Angeles Dodgers, that's not the case. But what you are going to see is this. You're going to see the Lakers operating at the highest level of professionalism. The days of, hey, I work for the Lakers because I know the Buss family. I know the Rambis family. I know the West family. I've got Lakers ties. I'm Kobe's agent, Rob Pelinka. I have all of these connections with the Lakers. Bronny James. I got drafted for LeBron James. They might still do something like that. But the truth is, if you're going to work for the Los Angeles Lakers from this point on, it's because you are the best at what you do. And not only are they going to hire the best professionals without the connections being a factor, without Lakers ties being a factor, you are going to get more manpower, more resources. I can tell you from covering the Dodgers closely. I can tell you from having conversations with Andrew Friedman and interviewing him throughout the years. The resources that the Dodgers have compared to what the Lakers have, it's night and day. The Lakers, they did not have the same amount of scouts. They did not have the same amount of resources poured into all the other things. The Dodgers, for every one coach, for every one scout, for every one affiliate of the team for another organization, the Dodgers had 4 or 5. Multiple employees. So it's not only are you getting the best employees, you're getting more employees. You're getting more manpower. And that's certainly something that is going to benefit them in a significant way. But let's dive into this because this is ugly. There's drama here. And that's been the biggest issue with the Lakers is that the drama has kind of been they're not operating as a franchise in the NBA. They're operating as a bad reality show. They're operating as a team that isn't the marquee franchise in their sport. And that's all going to change because of this. So let's dive into this. So let's kind of rewind a little bit and let's talk about the firing of Joey and Jeanie Buss. Now, with Thursday's shocking firing of Joey and Jeanie Buss, this new report comes out. And what happened with them was, it was bad. You could say it was sad. But this is a family that's absolutely dysfunctional on every level. There was a report that she had not spoken to her brothers for 5 months. There was a report that it wasn't Jeanie Buss that did the firing. It wasn't Rob Pelinka that did the firing. It was the Lakers CFO that did the firing. And it was revealed yesterday that Jesse and Joey Buss, that they were the ones that voted against the sale of the team. It says, Dr. Buss's idea was for Joey and I to run basketball operations one day, but Jeanie has effectively kept herself in place with her siblings fired. That was a quote on a statement that the brothers offered to Shams Charania of ESPN. Then Jesse, he gave an exclusive interview to Dan Wokey of The Athletic, and that detailed more of the drama behind the scenes. He talked about growing disconnected between him and the front office and that he was already being phased out. And he included the fact that he hasn't talked to his sister or Rob Pelinka in 5 months, despite the fact that they hold titles of assistant general manager and director of scouting. Imagine that. The last 5 months, the Buss brothers have had the title of assistant general manager and director of scouting, but they haven't talked to Rob Pelinka. They haven't talked to Jeanie Buss. If I'm Mark Walter and I just dropped $10 billion for a team and have these dysfunctional fools not even doing their job because they're not communicating, I'd be furious. I really would. And go on to say that, look, you look at how this team is, and I think typically it's kind of how things go. And, you know, when a franchise is sold, there's always restructuring. There's a big broom that comes in and sweeps everything away at some point, and that's what's happening in the basketball operations department. Obviously, over the last 2 years, we know it's been happening. And Jesse said, I've been dealing with quite a bit of health issues. I'm currently undergoing treatment for that. And I kind of noticed around the same time that things were different within our organization, within the front office and just the basketball operations. I kind of felt siloed quite a bit, dating back to before, I guess, the 2023 draft. And I kind of didn't think much of it. But as time went on and there was a lack of communication between not only my sister and I, but the organization as a whole, while I was combating various health issues, I kind of felt like the writing was on the wall. The sale of the team happening kind of more or less just solidified it in my mind, and I just more or less expected it. Obviously, this is a job. I've loved it for a very long time, and I love this organization. All the fans love the city of Los Angeles. It's pretty much all I've ever known my entire life. And I love the fact that the Buss bros, they're trying to play the victim here. And yes, they have an impact on this organization. They run the South Bay Lakers. And when you do, you impact two-way contracts, two-way deals, just the pipeline of talent. And yes, they've had some success in finding some diamond in the rough players. Austin Reeves being the best example. And you got to give him credit for that. But it's time. The restaurant is under new management. And they are cleaning house, they're changing the menu, they're remodeling, and it's going to be a process. And then let's go back to just how dysfunctional this is. I want to see Jeanie Buss gone from the Lakers too. I don't want to see any more Busses. No more Busses, okay? I don't want to see the Busses on the team buses, right? We travel in private jets now. No more Busses, okay? And just to give you more examples how dysfunctional this franchise is with the Buss family. Jim and Jeanie Buss, they attempted to remove Jeanie Buss as Lakers president and controlling owner when she fired Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak. Jim Buss was removed from his post as the Lakers vice president of basketball operations, and he was trying to fight to keep the franchise. There was a report that there was a coup. They tried to do a coup against their own sister, and Jeanie Buss took him to court. And she released a statement that read that Jeanie Buss, her lawyer released a statement that read, Jeanie Buss has thwarted an effort by her brothers, Jim and Johnny, to oust her as the Lakers president and controlling owner as the behind-the-scenes battle for control of the franchise moved into the courtroom. The two brothers, they reportedly wanted to hold a meeting without Jeanie that would have attempted to, quote, elect a new board of directors for the team that didn't include her. In order to be the controlling owner, she has to be a director. Jeanie fired Jim. She fired Mitch Kupchak, the general manager at the time of the Lakers, and then she hired Magic Johnson as the new Lakers president of basketball operations. Jeanie Buss thought that was a good idea to hire Magic Johnson. I love Magic Johnson. I think he's the greatest point guard of all time. I think he's one of the most charismatic athletes of all time. He did not have any experience running a basketball team in the NBA at the time he took over, and it was a massive failure. And then you've got the Lakers just treating this like a family-run franchise. You just can't do that. You just can't do that. You can't treat like a family-run franchise. It's a global corporation, and now they're modernizing. I will say that they gave Jeanie Buss 5 years. I hope that she follows them out of the door, because there's something pretty interesting in all this. Because if I'm the Buss brothers, if I'm Jesse, if I'm Joey, and I want to get real revenge on my sister, which things are ugly. They don't talk. She runs the franchise from before they made the sale. Think about this. The way they could get revenge, and I looked into this morning, is they could still sell the team because they still have 15% of the Lakers at this point. The Buss Trust requires a 4-vote majority for any sale. And there's 6 votes. There's Jeanie, there's Janie, there's Johnny, there's Jimmy, there's Joey, there's Jesse. All J's. And then 10 years ago, like we just talked about, Johnny and Jimmy, they tried to sell the team and fired Jeanie Buss, and she stopped them in court. So there's already bad blood between Jeanie and her 2 older brothers. Now she just basically fired her 2 younger brothers. So that means you got 4 brothers that probably are very upset with her. So what if the 2 older brothers team up with the 2 younger brothers and they sell the final 15% of the team? That's worth $1.5 billion. You would take home $250 million each, and then you could fire Jeanie Buss as the governor of the team, since you need 15% ownership to be the governor. The Buss brothers would then, they would take that $2.2 billion. Who knows what you could do with that? Hey, man, you could become an ownership group of yourself and try to invest in another NBA team. I'm just thinking, I wonder if Jeanie Buss has thought about this. But the bottom line is the Lakers are so beyond this. It's so hilarious that we're talking about this. I remember reading a book about the Kobe Shaq era a couple years ago.
Oh, I know exactly which book you're talking about.
Yeah, the 3-Ring Circus by Jeff Pearlman, who's a good pal of mine. Had him on the show a couple different times. And there was an anonymous Laker that went inside the Kobe Shaq locker room, saw the dysfunction from ownership, saw the dysfunction from management, and he said, quote, "How in the hell did you guys win championships with all this shit going on?" And that's how it feels like today. Now, it was fine back in the day when you could get away with the mom and pop type of owner. It was fine when it worked. It's not going to work now. You got to move on. I think that Jeanie Buss should be next. I think the fact that you didn't have the common decency to at least have some copy to thank your brothers. Hey, thanks for your future endeavors. Hey, yeah, thanks for Austin Reeves. Thanks for Kyle Kuzma. Thanks for all the work you did. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I think that would allow the Lakers to really just turn the corner and get a new chapter. I mean, look, the truth is, does Jeanie Buss deserve any credit for the Lakers championship in 2020? Sure. She had the position, but I can tell you from talking to people, I can tell you from just knowing what LeBron James was about. Hey, who knows who could have owned the Lakers or how dysfunctional they were at the time? LeBron James was going to be a Laker. It didn't matter. It could have been the worst version of Dan Gilbert, and he would have become a Laker because he wanted to be in LA. He wanted the production company. He wanted to be in Space Jam 2. He wanted to play for an iconic franchise. Sorry, Cavs. Sorry, Heat. You're not iconic franchises. He wanted to play for an iconic franchise. So the Lakers lucked out. Let's just call it what it is. That was some luck for the Lakers, and they just didn't mess it up. Magic Johnson drove to the house, stayed in the car for an hour before walking in, and LeBron James had made up his mind at that point. He wanted his family to grow up here. What, you think that LeBron's kids could just grow up in Akron, Ohio and have a normal life? No. He needed to be in LA, where celebrities and their kids can have some semblance of a normal life. And what happened? He ended up going to USC. And he ended up going to the NBA. His son Bryce going to Arizona. They love the LA lifestyle. Fine. Had nothing to do with Jeanie Buss, though. It really didn't. And the truth is that if it weren't for LeBron James wanting to be a Los Angeles Laker because they're the Los Angeles Lakers and they're located in this town with this weather, with their history, the Lakers wouldn't have won absolutely nothing without Jerry Buss. Nothing. Jeanie would have failed. Her brothers would have failed. All the Busses would have failed. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So she could be gone too. I don't want to see Jeanie Buss on the Lakers for very much longer. And as far as Rob Pelinka, I think Rob Pelinka gets a lot of credit because, hey, his relationship with Nico Harrison, that led to Luka Doncic, which saved the franchise. We'll see how the Lakers do this season, how those moves turn out. Gabe Vincent wasn't a good move. Vando. We'll see what happens with this year's Lakers. But I guarantee you that Rob Pelinka is not sleeping soundly at night about his future and the job security that he has with his team. Because when someone buys a team, they've got their own guys in mind. And I'll remind you of the Lakers history and the Dodgers history. When the Guggenheim Group bought the Dodgers, they didn't fire Ned Colletti right away. They did it in 2 years. So the clock is ticking. It's either, hey, win now, you're gone. But I still think that there's a plan in place to replace everyone and just start a completely new franchise. So, Rob Pelinka, if you want your job, you better win this year. You better win next year. You better not crater and be the reason why this team doesn't win. And to the Jeanie Buss family and the Buss family, thank you for your services. But it was all about Jerry Buss, and he wanted you guys to run this team, and we get it. And there were some high highs. This is 2025, right? This is 2025. This is big business. The Dodgers are going to influence them in a positive way, and it starts today. The Los Angeles Dodgers Lakers era has truly begun. All right, got some comments here. We got the first laser super chat of all time. I love it. Some kind of wonderful. $1.99. Appreciate that. Lakers just signed Drew Timme to an NBA contract. Did they really sign Drew Timme to an NBA contract? Timme. Who loves South Park? I do. Yeah, Drew Timme. Yeah, he all right, nice. So yeah, Drew Timme, he did just recently win the G League Player of the Week. Of course, I know him for the wrong reasons. He was great at his time with Gonzaga against my Bruins, and I hated every part of that. He's always been pretty fun, though. Yeah, South Bay Lakers forward Drew Timme has been named this NBA G League Player of the Week for his games on Friday and Sunday. He averaged 37 and almost 5 And the Lakers are in the process of agreeing on a new two-way contract, and they are going to waive Christian Coloco and Chris Mannion. Wow. So there you go. Drew Timmy. Big South Park guy. So bye-bye Coloco. Drew Timmy's a good player. And honestly, he's one of those guys. What I love about Drew Timmy is he's one of those guys where it doesn't matter what your vertical is, doesn't matter how the athleticism is. He's a guy that he finds his way to be productive on a basketball court. He finds a way to make good things happen, finish around the rim, good passer, good rebounder. Drew Timmy. So that's cool. I like that news. The Lakers making moves. All right. Switching gears. These are more comments. We have Fire Palinka from Dylan. Bronny will save the Lakers. That's from Enrique. COVID deserves the credit. I see what you're saying. You're saying that COVID led to the big layoff with Anthony Davis. And he's able to stay healthy. I mean, that was one of the worst. That Heat team will probably go down as one of the worst NBA final teams ever. But hey, a championship's a championship. This sounds like a Ishy Netflix show. Surge. And that's another reason why you should fire Jeanie Buss. The dumb Lakers at the time funding a show that was a parody about them on Netflix. I mean, they're worse than a bad soap opera. They're terrible. Come on, Dodgers. Bring me Durant and Diaz. That'll do me good. Let's go for the Triple Crown. Allen, prayers answered. Mark Walters will finally turn the Lakers into a dynasty. Andrew Friedman will hire the best front office and scout in the industry. And yes, like I said, it's very important to remember, and I like that you brought that up. It's very important to remember that if you think that Mark Walters and Andrew Friedman are just going to go out there and sign Giannis and Jokic and Steph and Wemby because, oh my goodness, the translation is going to be apples to apples. No, that's not how this works. The advantage is going to come in there's going to be no drama. And if there is, you're gone. There's going to be no infighting. If we see that, gone. You're hiring professionals now. You guys know the petty fights you have with your brothers and your sisters. It lingers. It gets petty. No mas. They just have the Order 66 down. They have the Order 66 down, and they are cleaning house right now. We got BC, go LA Sports, Dodgers, Lakers, Rams, Kings, Galaxy. The early DMAC gets the torta from Muad'Dib. Dodgers for life says Bus Bros get evicted. Yeah, it's kind of how it feels. Definitely kind of how it feels for sure. Downhill once Jerry Buss passed. R.I.P. Jerry from Cesar. Kev LA Sports Teams Nation. Lakers need a championship that starts with management and ownership. Ellis Shiva Jones, Mark Walters should buy the LA Kings. Yeah, and how about UCLA football too? Okay, can you buy a college team? I don't know, but if you could, I would love that. All right, switching gears to the NFL, to the Rams. By the way, we have my friend Jake Ellenbogen, who covers the Rams for his channel. He's outstanding. He's going to be on the show very soon. We're going to talk some Rams. And we know that Les Snead absolutely cooked. So he did cook. He was great. He's one of the best in the business.
My bad. I put the wrong grammatical autocorrect. My fault.
No, but it's a good cook.
He's cooking.
He is cooking. There we go. That works. And what we're talking about here is the Rams made an absolutely incredible deal when they traded for the Falcons' 2026 first-round pick. So smart trades can keep teams on top. Smart trades can sustain a window. And they can also keep bad teams at the bottom. They can also make things worse. And when the Rams were on the clock on draft day, the Rams agreed to send their first-round pick to the Falcons in a trade that included the Falcons' 2026 first-round pick going to the Rams. The Falcons wanted defensive end James Pierce badly enough that they were willing to give a lot to get the Rams' first-round pick, and that was at number 26. They made the deal. They get Pierce. Now, at the time, the Falcons thought that Pierce would be the last piece of the puzzle as they revamped their defense to try to make a run at the playoffs. But that hasn't been the case. Pierce has been a part-time player at best. He's recorded just 2.5 sacks, and the Falcons are at 3-7, and they will not be in the playoffs. They also looked like they just lost Michael Penix Jr. The Falcons are going to be headed for a top 10 pick. So that means that the Rams are going to be elevated into the top 10 of the NFL draft when, wait for it, checks notes, they're probably the best team in the NFL right now. So the best team in the NFL, or at least in the conversation, you have the Eagles, not too much out there. Power rankings, Rams are consensus number one, at least for this week. And now the Rams have a lot of capital to go out there and do whatever they want with it. So think about this. The Rams pick in 2026 could end up being a top 5 pick, and they'll still have their first round pick, and they might have that coming off winning a Super Bowl. So now the Rams are in a great position. Matthew Stafford playing at an MVP level. If he wins the Super Bowl, maybe he just wants to ride off into the sunset as a champion and just retire. But if he wins the Super Bowl, that means he was playing well, which means that he could easily continue his career into his late 30s and early 40s. He's under contract for one more year. The way the contract is structured, he could get out. The Rams, Jared Verse, young, all pro level. So typically when a team is looking to draft high, when they're looking to kind of be that team that really shakes things up, it's when you've tanked, right? You bottomed out. The Rams could do a lot of things with that pick. They could trade up and get a young quarterback to be Matthew Stafford's successor. Is it going to be Arch Manning? Probably not, but that was the original plan. But Arch Manning hasn't been good. By the way, make sure you say a prayer for Arch Manning. There's nothing wrong with him. He just sucks. But you also have got Mendoza. You've got guys that you can potentially look at as your top quarterback. You could an impact trade. You could trade for someone that's not a quarterback that you think could be the missing piece to a puzzle. If I'm the Rams, though, I'm hoping my next quarterback is Joe Burrow, because that's the model for this Rams team now. The model for this team moving forward from overall success, the model for that is you let another team draft a guy, you have that guy be great, but he's not playing for a good organization. He's not contending. He's still young. And then you can try to make a move for him. Joe Burrow feels like a Los Angeles Ram quarterback. Kind of looks like Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin's a lot of the games with Brenda Song. Got the star power. Got the Joe Cool vibe. Joe Burrow feels like a Los Angeles Ram quarterback. And the Rams have more assets than any team right now. They've got every single method of payment. You want crypto? We got that. You want cash? We got that. Check, credit card? We got that. Equity? We could pay that way too. The Rams can pay guys. They can trade for guys. And I want to see Joe Burrow be the next quarterback. By the way, a real quick one too about the Rams. They are going to be getting new uniforms in 2026. And this past Sunday, they wear their midnight mode uniforms that were very, very dark navy, almost look black. But the big key difference for these jerseys was you notice the ram horn in the same direction as the helmet. And the rumor right now is that these uniforms are going to be the template for the 2026 Rams uniforms. And the Rams did apply for a uniform change. Now, the way the rules set up in the NFL is to change the uniforms, you have to wait 5 years or you have to have an ownership change. And next year will be the 5th year. I want to see the Rams completely overhaul their uniforms to go back to the retro look. For me, my dream Ram uniform is just the Eric Dickerson look, but the helmet matches the blue. Instead of a navy on the helmet with the horns, it's the same as the blue. That to me is right up there with the Raiders and the Packers as the best uniforms in the NFL. The best uniform in the NFL is right there for the Rams, but instead, Kevin Demoff and the Rams, they totally botched it. They absolutely botched the rebrand. With the gradient was terrible. That was bad. But now they're getting new uniforms. It's going to look the same as the color scheme, but it's going to have the blue. It's going to have the yellow and the horns are going to go the right way. But got some more comments here. We got Rams house. Joe Burrow's injury history is concerning. Craig, we got Rams need more depth at wide receiver with all the injuries. Rose Marcino. Low key, I like your outfit today, D-Mac. Yeah, I kind of got my stadium gear on with the vest. We've got Wadib69. Give McVay a first-round weapon. Maybe trade down for a tight end. You got tight ends, but you just drafted Terrence Ferguson with your highest pick in the 2025 draft. I'm not so sure about that. But yeah, so a couple more things on the uniforms is the rumor is it's going to look like the Midnight Mode. It's going to be the Rams Royal in Seoul. You're going to see the Rams horns wrap around the shoulders the right way. You're probably going to still see the broken horns, which I don't like. It looks like two crescent moons spooning. I'd go back to the normal ones with the curl. But at least they're going to be an upgrade to these. The gradient's going to be gone. The name tag's going to be gone. And they're going to look a little more consistent. I don't think the Rams should ever wear blue pants, by the way. Should always be yellow. But, yeah, we'll talk more about this as we get more news. Roseman, D-Back, my GOAT. What is up, Roseman? All right, now let's switch to the Dodgers. And today the Dodgers have some decisions to make as far as non-tender candidates. We talked about that yesterday on Dodgers Dugout Live. Anthony Bonda, Evan Phillips, Brock Stewart, all potential non-tender candidates. I think ultimately they will not be non-tendered. I think they'll be back with the Dodgers. This organization values pitching depth so much, and at that price, it still makes a lot of sense. Those guys have a ton of upside. But the question is, what's the dream offseason for the Dodgers? And you can drop yours down below. What is the dream offseason for the Dodgers? Well, I think the first dream is the number one dream would be to get Tarik Skubal. You get a surefire superstar ace-level pitcher, a two-time Cy Young Award winner, and the dream is not only you trade for him, but you also get him to sign an extension. But even if you don't get him to sign that extension, you get him into your organization, you show him your winning culture, you win a World Series with him, and then hopefully he says, hey, I've seen what it's like to be with the Dodgers. I want to win at the highest level. I want to get paid, and you sign him to a deal in the offseason. But that would be the big dream, because for anyone saying the Dodgers don't need starting pitching, I'm not so sure that you've been watching the same Los Angeles Dodgers that I've been watching for the last two seasons. 2024, you had to win the World Series where your bullpen covered 60+% of the innings, and you had 2.5 starters in Yamamoto, Walker Buehler, and Jack Flaherty. Last season, though, you won the World Series because you had not only dominant starting pitching, but elite starting pitching that you had to operate at the top of the market for financially. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, when you signed him, you made him the highest paid pitcher in baseball history. Blake Snell, you gave him a 5-year, $182 million deal last offseason. Both of them played pivotal roles. Shohei Ohtani, he made some big starts for you. Tyler Glasnow, he's a guy making over $100 million. The Dodgers now have a formula for success in the postseason. You need dominant starting pitching. And the Yamamotos aren't walking through that door for most teams. Either are the Blake Snells, because those guys are expensive. Those guys are top shelf. You can't afford those type of dudes. The Dodgers can. And Tarik Skubal, you're not going to find a guy in the draft that looks like Tarik Skubal, pitches like that. You're not going to sign one this offseason. What starting pitchers anywhere near as good as Tarik Skubal that could be available? Hey, you get Shota Imanaga? Come on now. Tarik Skubal is right up there with Paul Skeens as one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. And who's to say that the Dodgers rotation is going to be healthy in October next year? You just never know. Who's to say that there's going to be a starting pitcher that you can get during the season at the trade deadline? Now is the time to go out there and trade for Tarik Skubal. I do it. Second part of my dream would be fix the outfield. I think right at the top of that list would be Byron Buxton. 2 years, $45 million for a guy that is an above average bat, an above average defender. Yes, there are those injury concerns. You can find those with a lot of players in their 30s. But I think that if I was going to roll the dice on an injury-prone player or a guy that has injury concerns, the Dodgers are the perfect organization for that right now because, one, they have depth, and two, they're not a team that's going to force their players to play through lingering injuries during the regular season, right? They know what you need to do to win in October. You can win 93 games, play the 2 additional games in the wild card round, go on the road in the DS, CS, and World Series, and still win the World Series. Why? Because your roster is better. So that's the most important thing. So I would take a flyer on Byron Buxton. Second on that list would be Jarren Duran of the Boston Red Sox. I think the ability to hit doubles, speed, defense. I like that idea. And then how about another dream? Corey Seager. Could you bring back Siegs? Now, a lot would have to happen, right? I mean, you have to commit to $189 million for 6 years. But if he would move to third base eventually, Max Muncy's only under contract for one more season. Third base is completely open. Shortstop last year, he was an above-average shortstop. Could you bring in Corey Seager and then move Mookie Betts to second base, which makes a lot more sense in the grand scheme of things? And then you could have Tommy Edman in center field, and then you put Teo in left, and you put Paz in right. That makes a lot more sense too. So if Corey Seager is on the trade block, you're looking at a little over $30 million per year. He's still an elite hitter. 141 weighted runs created plus since he left the Dodgers. That's 41% above league average. That is all-star territory. That is a guy that won the World Series MVP in 2023. If you win the World Series next year, the year after that with Corey Seager, all the money on the back end doesn't hurt you that much because you three-peated, you've won 4, you've already created a dynasty. Another guy to include on that list too, if you're going to actually go out there and pay, is Cody Bellinger. I still think that Cody Bellinger is the guy you want to consider. I'm a believer. The bat's been better. It's been more consistent. He is great against left-handed pitchers. So that means he's basically platoon-proof, right? That means the opposing manager can't dictate, we're going to throw a lefty in this part of the order because Bellinger's bad against lefties, so we're going to take advantage of that. No, you can't do that. Bellinger's an option. And then I look at the bullpen. How do you fix that? I think Tanner Scott's going to have a better year next year. I know I'll duck for saying that. I really think he is. I think Devin Williams is the guy. I think Devin Williams is the guy that go out there. And remember that we're dreaming here. Is this realistic? No. But this is the question. What is the dream offseason? Trade for Seager, trade for Skubal, trade for Buxton. I mean, at that point, your farm system has completely been gutted. And I think you got to consider like one of those moves. And then you want to flex some financial muscle and sign Williams, maybe sign Cody Bellinger if you can't get Buxton or another guy. I think Brendan Donovan's another guy for the Cardinals that I certainly want to see in Dodger blue. Bring him up, kind of pair him with Ryan Ward potentially. But that's where the dream's at. But let's see your guys. Okay, we got Craig signed Skubal. You can't sign Skubal. You got to trade for him. But Buxton and Mike Miller. We got Dream is Skubal, Seager, and Olivia Dunn. There's a comment of the show from Wadib69. BC, help the pitchers by giving them a run support. Absolutely. That's always good. D-Mac, why are we not talking about Wilyer Abreu? Look, Abreu's really good too. We talked about him yesterday on Dodgers Dugout Live, and Abreu's another guy for the Red Sox that I would consider trading for too. They have to add an outfielder. To think you're going to run it back with Edman, Paz, and Teo and Ryan Ward coming up, that can't be the plan. You bring Kike back, he's not an everyday outfielder. So that has to be the number one thing. By the way, some breaking news here is Adolis Garcia is being non-tendered. Garcia has been non-tendered by the Texas Rangers. And that's pretty big because we know when he's right, he's someone that can really be an impact bat in the postseason. He was hitting 227 with 19 home runs, a 665 OPS. He's going to be a free agent. My man had a 1108 OPS in the 2023 postseason. He's an outfielder. That's interesting stuff. What kind of contract is he going to sign? I mean, if the Adelys Garcias are getting non-tendered, yeah, that's a big move. So we're still waiting to see if we got any of these Dodgers moves happening, and we'll wait and see that. But all right, some more comments here. Dodgers should just trade for Skubal, give the Tigers what they want. Alonzo, imagine like 3 wishes come true, then Major League Baseball will go crazy and will go in strike in 2 years. Yeah, hey, that should be the motto for the Lakers. Let's ruin basketball. The Dodgers ruined baseball. Now let's ruin basketball. We've got Roseman saying, I don't know, D-Mac, I can't see Seager at third, and I don't know how Mookie will react to second after having him learn shortstop. Mookie can still be at shortstop for 2 more years. Seager's contract is not great, to be honest. I'm not like head over heels. You have to trade for Corey Seager. I don't even think he'd want to necessarily be a Dodger just because he had an opportunity to sign here and he didn't. And not only that, I can tell you from speaking with Andrew Friedman that not only did he not want to be a Dodger, he didn't even let the Dodgers counteroffer. He took that $325. He took that deal with the Rangers and ran with it. If he really wanted to be a Dodger, he would say, hey, the Rangers offered me this amount. Can you guys up this significantly because the California state taxes give me like $375. I'll come back and be a Dodger. He didn't love being a Dodger as far as everything surrounding the team and maybe the traffic. Who knows specifically? He just felt like Texas was a better fit. So I'm not even convinced that Corey Seager would want to be a Dodger. We'll see, but I just don't. We still don't know if that's even something that he'd even entertain. And if he doesn't want to be a Dodger, would you want to trade for him? He had the Braves on his no trade list. We've got Ray D-Mac. What happened to you? Cannot reheat fries. No to both. Let's get Bichette or Quan. I would much rather have Bichette I'd rather give Bichette $200 million than give Kyle Tucker $300 million. Quan, he's another guy that I'm not the highest on Quan. I'd rather trade for Buxton, rather trade for Duran. Quan plays left field, doesn't hit the ball hard. I'm not the biggest Quan guy. The Dodgers clearly interested in him, and I think that they could possibly make a move for him for sure. They're going to make a trade this offseason. They are. And they're also probably going to make a signing too, but I just don't think they're going to operate at the very top of the market. As far as Corey Seager, it's kind of fun to think about. Will it happen? Probably not. But in a perfect world, who wouldn't want someone as good as Corey Seager on your team? He's just still a really, really, really good bat. Skubal, Williams, and Donovan, that works for me. Malachi Ferreira, if you say no to Corey, you for real are new here. Yeah, exactly. I mean, who would say Corey Seager is still one of the best damage-doing hitter. He's a dangerous hitter. And any team be lucky to have him. It's just about keeping him healthy as well. Okay, before we get out of here, we got our top 10, like we always do. And we got the 10 worst Lakers of all time. The worst Lakers of all time. And I think at number 10, I got Dwight Howard. Because Dwight Howard was a good player. He did come back and he helped this team win. But I'm talking about the 2012 and 2013 Dwight Howard, where Kobe called him out in front of the entire locker room. He didn't speak up and step up for himself. The Lakers had to resort to getting billboards up to try to keep him in LA. And he didn't. He went elsewhere. So I got Dwight Howard. It's kind of a more of a personal thing. Number 9, Sam Bowie. So Sam Bowie, he was the guy that was selected ahead of Michael Jordan, the 1984 draft. He went a couple years where he would get to the Lakers in the 1993 season. He was terrible. He played just 92 games in 2 seasons with the Lakers. He averaged less than 6 points and 5 rebounds in 20 minutes a night. And also, he was the second highest paid player on the team. Sam Bowie might have one of the worst playing legacies of any player in any professional sport across the board. Imagine being the second highest paid player on your team and getting less than 6 points per game. Yeah, Sam Bowie, He's at number 9. Then how about Chris Mim coming in at number 8? Now, Chris Mim was a tough spot for him. Offensively, probably the worst hands I've ever seen outside of this side of Kwame Brown. Dude just could not catch anything clean. Gave you a couple dunks here and there. But, yeah, not fond memories of Chris Mim from 2004 to 2009. Then how about Isaiah Ryder? So if you remember anything about Isaiah Ryder, he famously had the between the legs dunk for the T-Wolves in the dunk contest. Was viewed as a guy that could be an all-star level scorer, 20-plus points per game, had the cool name. Phil Jackson left him off the playoff roster, and he had Devin George and Greg Foster. Well, why was that? Why did Isaiah Ryder miss the playoff roster? He missed the team bus for a game in San Antonio, and he showed up late to the game, and he gave Phil Jackson a note saying that he didn't get his wake-up call. And then also, he got a drug suspension. He did get a championship ring, but Isaiah Ryder, for sure, is on that list. There was a story that he played Kobe at one-on-one, and Kobe destroyed him. Then how about Antonio Harvey? Some of you might not remember this guy, but Antonio Harvey, he was just terrible. He averaged 3 points, 2 rebounds, shot under 37% from the field. He was bad. And how about the top 5? 5, I'm going DJ Benga. Tacos. Who remembers that? DJ Benga, awful hands again. 0 bag, couldn't score. The only thing that he could do productive on a basketball court was foul. That's all he did. He averaged 6 fouls per 36 minutes. And he also got posterized by Blake Griffin in one of the best posterizing dunks you'll ever see. Then coming in at number 3, I'm going Travis Knight. So Travis Knight, he was a unathletic center that was even worse when it comes to fouling. He averaged more than 7 fouls per 36 minutes. Dude just did essentially nothing during his NBA career. And then next I've got Adam Morrison. So the top 3. Adam Morrison was one of the most hyped players in college basketball history, coming out of Gonzaga. Famously ended his career crying on the court after UCLA came back in the NCAA tournament to beat Gonzaga. And he was a 3rd-round pick in 2006. He was drafted ahead of Brandon Roy, Rudy Gay, Rajon Rondo were in that draft. And the Bobcats, they just gave up on him in less than 2 years. And then he goes to the Lakers. He just sat on the bench. He averaged 2 points and 1 rebound in 39 games with the Lakers. He's the only person to never start a game for the Lakers that's on this list. Didn't start 1 game. He contributed nothing to the group project. And yeah, I think the only thing that he really did was he would motivate Kobe a little bit when it was Morrison sitting next to Kobe, and he would go up in it's a funny clip of him kind of clapping, trying to get Kobe revved up. And now we got the top 2, the 2 worst Lakers of all time. This one was tough, but number 2 has to be Kwame Brown. Now, Kwame Brown in 2005, the Lakers traded Caron Butler and Chucky Atkins for the 2001 number 1 overall pick and Laurent Profit. And the crazy thing about this deal was it wasn't like that Kwame Brown was even good or showed any flashes. He was already a certified bust when the Lakers acquired him. Another guy, terrible hands, couldn't catch passes cleanly. Awful in traffic when it comes to try to get him the ball. He was lost on defense. He was terrible. The only thing that Kwame Brown ever did for this team, for this franchise, was being a part of the deal that acquired them Pau Gasol. Kwame Brown was terrible. Kwame Brown, he had these very small hands for his size. Just the most frustrating player you ever watched. And then number 1, the worst Laker of all time, I'm going with Smush Parker. Smush Parker with the headband, with the kind of the playground style game. I mean, the crazy thing about this, if you look at the numbers, you probably wouldn't say Smush Parker, but the issue is he got into it with the coaches, and he would look off Kobe Bryant and not pass him the ball towards the end of his second year. Imagine being on the court with Kobe and you're not going to give him the ball in clutch situations. You can't disrespect Kobe Bryant. And then in Game 7 of the 2006 first-round match with the Phoenix Suns, he went 4 for 13. He was terrible. So I got Smush Parker as number one. Smush Parker is someone that he lost all of his LA privileges. What he said about Kobe Bryant and trying to just kind of like get some attention after the fact. They had a terrible relationship. They had this little public feud. And yeah, those are my top 10 worst Lakers of all time. We got some more comments down. Adam Morrison's definitely, he's in consideration for number one. I think Robert Sacre, you could kind of throw in there too as an honorable mention. Michael Jordan drafted Adam Morrison. That's a bad omen. Steve Nash, he was injured. How about the top 5 best? Okay. Top of my head, I got to go Kobe Bryant just because, like I said, he's the really inspiration for this show in a lot of different ways. The mob mentality for the city, the championships, sticking with this franchise when he was really at a low point, wanting to get traded to the Bulls, spanned a couple different eras. His overall contribution to this organization just is unmatched. 20 years with one franchise. First year, 96, 97. Last year, 2015 and 2016. I got to go Kobe 1, Magic 2, 3 Kareem, 4 Shaq, 5 West. 6, I think you throw Wilt in there, but that's my top 5 Lakers. I'll do a little more in-depth top 10 for sure. But Nick Van Exel, I love Nick the Quick. What are you talking about, Tyler? Chris Kaman. Wow, Chris Kaman. Chris Kaman was rough. He had some good years with the Clippers, though. We've got Malachi. The Tigers blessed us with Flaherty, so it's only right we bless them with a package for Scooble. You want to give him that package? First of all, pause. But Ruben, the Clippers are so old, the players on the team still MySpace each other. There's the comment of the show. That's the comment of the show. I love that. All right, let's double check to make sure. Give me you guys top 5 Lakers, by the way. Let's see.
Somebody said Bronny. We got James Worthy. We got Magic Johnson. In terms of best, these are best. I mean, Bronny, I don't know, but James Worthy, Magic Johnson, Jack Haley. In terms of the best, Brendan Ash's production said Nick Young, top 5 worst Lakers based on bro code alone. Definitely get that.
Yeah, he put him on. No, that was yeah.
Oh no, actually no, that was D'Lo.
D'Lo who put him on blast.
Aired him out. Yeah,
with his girl.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. Those are all really good names though. Those are all really good names. I think Bronny for sure. I mean, if his career continues at this pace, there's no doubt about it. He'll go down as the best Laker of all time. No doubt about it. The best South Bay Laker of all time, of course. But all right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the LA Sports Report. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Special thanks to producer Robert, always holding it down. Drop comments down below, and we'll be back this weekend. We do a post-game show after the USC Oregon game, and I got an interview with a USC insider a little later today that will drop for the USC fans out there. But that's going to do it, guys. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and drop a like and drop a comment and comment laser so you're eligible for our next giveaway, doing a Luka Doncic jersey giveaway very soon, getting close to 4,000 subscribers. Channel's growing fast. Appreciate all the love. We'll see you a little later for Dodgers Dugout Live 2 once we get word about the non-tender candidates. So be on the lookout for that. And remember, it's a lot of great cities in the world, but LA is the city of champions.